Fairly Otter isn't the worst show that I have ever seen in my life, but it's definitely one of the most pointless experiences that I've witnessed in quite some time. This is a sequel series to the original Fairly OddParents that came out in 2001. The show ended in 2017, 5 years before this one came out, even though no one in existence asked for this sequel series because of how bad the original was. When Fairly OddParents ended, people around the world went like, and then when this show came out in 2022, people went all like,
what the? No! No, 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 no!
Because there's no point to the show. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, a sequel series to Fairly OddParents is not a bad idea. I know, I may sound crazy for saying that, but the truth is, the concept of Fairly OddParents could always be given new ideas. Seeing a child while having a fairy coming up with crazy adventures. But this show has a problem that a lot of sequel shows and sequel movies have. They rely way too much on the original to carry out their story. When creating a sequel anything, we want to enjoy the follow-up of this new story, not just constantly be told, you could just be watching the original for a better experience. That was a problem with The Legend of Korra. Instead of focusing on a bunch of new characters with new situations, they rely way too much on older characters more or less going, remember the original series? Even in sequel products that I do enjoy, like Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, one of its main problems is that it relied way too much on Phoenix Wright himself. And while it's fine for the scenario and story that they created, the marketing made it look like it was going to star a new character and not an old one. Fairly Otter could have focused on new fairies doing new scenarios, or hell, it could have focused on Poof being old or him being a fairy godparent. Instead, we kinda get the same show before, but with less character. This show takes place 8 years after the original Fairly OddParents series, starring Vivian Turner. She is Timmy Turner's younger cousin. I love how we get no statement if it's on the mom or dad's side. They just go with it. Now, as a whole, I'm not against a family member of Timmy Turner that's younger than him getting fairies. Heck, that's technically what happens in Channel Chasers, where Timmy's children actually get fairies. But here they do it in such a fucking complex way that it's not worth it. Remember that Fairly OddParents episode, Birthday Wish? That was an episode in which Timmy loaned his fairies to Tootie. Now, I rewatched the episode recently and it didn't age the best.
I could loan Tootie you guys for the rest of her birthday!
Timmy, according to the rules, you can only loan your fairies to someone who is twice as miserable as you are!
Gee, show, then why doesn't Tootie get fairies normally then if she is twice as miserable as Timmy fucking Turner? My point though is this. That episode at the very least gave a time limit to how long Timmy can loan Tootie his fairies.
Cosmo, Wanda, I wish you guys were Tootie's fairy godparents for the rest of her birthday!
The whole day? Until midnight?
Well, her bedtime's probably like 9 o'clock, so that'll do!
It wasn't a permanent thing, it was only a temporary thing. When it is a permanent change, then I take issue. So Timmy is now 18. This is when he should lose his fairies and his memory of them. Unless this show wants to pull a kids next door trick where certain select members can keep their memories, then Timmy needs to lose his memories of Cosmo and Wanda. He can't just give Vivian his fairies just because. Also, I love this one wish where after they have a crying moment of Cosmo, Wanda, and Timmy, then he's just like, I wish you weren't sad, and Timmy's like, oh hey, I'm not sad anymore. It reminds me of the Digimon movies, like, saddest moment ever, and then, get over it, and the kid's like, okay.
I guess this is goodbye. It's sad to see you go.
I wish you weren't sad.
Done! I can't wait to get to college. You'll probably fail without us. You bet I will.
What's the matter with you?
That's the saddest story I ever heard.
I'm the one with the problem, not you. Get over it.
Okay.
You know, as I wrote the script and started recording it, I just thought of something. Couldn't Timmy just lose his fairies regularly and then by some sheer coincidence that the next child that the fairies go and get for their job is Timmy's cousin? I mean, didn't Channel Chasers also give the implication that after Cosmo and Wanda were done with Timmy, their next kid was Timmy's kids? I know my idea, I kind of just showcase would be a little contrived, but it will at least make more sense than this loaning process. And Timmy only gets away with this because Jorgen was distracted by a video game.
Objection!
Wait, this wish can't happen. Okay, first of all, this is just that joke again from Buzz Lightyear's Star Command.
So, you went ahead and built that expendable ranger?
Experimental ranger.
Unauthorized ranger!
Well, technically, it was authorized by you. We slipped it in with our vacation request.
Craters. They always get me that way.
But second and more importantly, there is a fairy council that controls everything. Jorgen may be the
toughest fairy in the universe,
but it doesn't mean that he controls everything. This is what happens when you have a show go on for too long with such a long continuity that you forget your own rules. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic had this problem as well. Quick example, they had Griffins do good things that be normal in the pre-Star Glimmer era, like them participating in the Olympics and even being chefs. But the post-Star Glimmer era had new writers not understand the show and made them evil because Gilda was bad prior. Personally, I prefer a show that is just a comedy and not a long drama, because I can forgive a show with plot holes more that way. When a show wants to be taken seriously, I'm gonna take you seriously. Fairy Godparents wants to be taken seriously, so I'm gonna take it seriously because Fairy Otter also wants to be taken seriously. And when I take something seriously, it means that a show should follow its own damn continuity. As Fairy Godparents, the original series went on, the show got selective with its continuity as a whole. For example, they state that a child can't wish for money, but Timmy TV showed off that you can wish for money.
Maybe we replace Mom with someone a little less shrill. Find out if Florence Henderson is available.
You can't do that!
Sure we can! With a little of this, and a little of this!
Even though Fairy Otter has Wanda stating that you can't wish for money.
I wish for $50,000. What happened?
You can't wish for money, dear. It's against the rules.
When you make a rule, you need to keep that rule integral to your story and not change it later on. Imagine playing a board game that someone made up. Imagine yourself winning at that game in particular. Now imagine that person changing the rules mid-game just so that you specifically could not win. That's what watching the later Fairy Godparents felt like. They changed the rules up to basically make an episode exist or a certain aspect exist. You know, like how they state that Cosmo and Wanda need their wands to do any magic, and yet they can teleport without their wands. When you change the rules like this ad nauseum, it makes me not invested in your product since the rules could be changed at any random time. In the case of Fairy Otter, Timmy basically could allow any rule because Jorgen wasn't paying attention. Hey, Timmy, here's an idea. Why not just make a slip of stating that you get to keep your fairies forever? I mean, Jorgen approved your idea because he wasn't paying attention, and if that's all it takes, then you should be able to do unlimited wishes without any rules at this rate. A situation like this should have the Fairy Council stop Jorgen from abusing his power. This sequel series forgets that they don't even exist. They did not even pay attention to the original source material? Oh, who am I kidding? Poof isn't even in the series. Poof is not in Fairy Otter. Hell, Chloe is not in Fairy Otter. What, did she lose custody somehow? Remember, the final season of Fairy Godparents had Chloe and Timmy sharing Cosmo and Wanda. And yet, in the future, only Timmy has the fairies. What, did Chloe actually get nice? Like, did she actually not be miserable anymore? And if that's the case, I feel bad for Timmy because that means he was miserable for 8 years straight. Fairy Otter just makes shit up as they go. Hell, the later seasons of Fairy Godparents also made shit up as they go. It's like using Wikipedia as a source. No! And can I just say that this gaming joke is so boring? Is it, haha, Jorgen plays video games? First of all, a character that wouldn't play a video game playing a video game worked better than Amphibia. With King Andreas, because it wasn't technically a video game, he was using a robot to try to kill Anne, and the way he acted was like he was a gamer.
Hey, Andreas! Merry Christmas!
Hey, thanks, you too. Wait, no, dang it. It's the stupid controller's fault. I was so close to...
And secondly, didn't we already see fairies playing video games in Wishology?
I hear when you play this game, you feel like you're the chosen one.
Don't call my house anymore, because I'm going to play this game till I die!
Chosen one! Chosen one!
Awesome! Thousands of fans cheering for me, as they should.
So the joke here has already been done over a decade ago in Fairy Godparents. Most of the problems with this show come down to the writing. A lot of it is just obnoxious. Characters stating the obvious.
Okay, do you expect me to apologize for reconnecting with my high school sweetheart last week, marrying her on a whim, quitting my job, selling our house in Oldsburg, and moving to Dimsdale to live with them? Because now that I say it out loud, I realize that was nuts. So I will. I'm sorry.
I see that the Loud House was one of your inspirations. One of the worst jokes of that show was whenever Lincoln came up with a plan, he always had an obnoxiously long title for each plan.
It's time to put Operation Distract My Sister so that I can get to the TV first and watch the special live season finale of ARK and think of a shorter name for this operation into action.
And I guess that joke is here as well since some of the writers of the Loud House worked on Fairy Otter. I feel like the only way you could enjoy this show is if you never saw a television show before. But when you're watching this show that came out on March 31st, 2022, you have seen at least 100 shows before then, even if you don't watch TV that often. Also, I think this was meant to come out on the anniversary of the original Very Odd Parents. That came out March 31st, 2001, and this show is more or less 21 years later. By the way, how did this show even open up?
In the beginning, there was a boy. And the boy was average.
Oh god, this animation. While the animation throughout this show is constantly bad, I feel like the worst of this is the full-on animation scenes. There's only 2 in the show, being the opening scene of the show and the series finale final scene. The movement for everything is too slow and doesn't feel alive, which ironically enough is meant to give characters expression. Cosmo and Wanda have a weird size perspective. Either they keep changing their size, or Timmy Turner is smaller than Chiyo-chan from Azumanga Daioh. Cosmo and Wanda in the original series were roughly twice the size of Timmy, more or less them being the same size as a teenager or Vicky. In Very Odder, Vivian is in middle school, so she's technically taller than a 10-year-old, but here she can hold Cosmo and Wanda in the palm of her hand. Did the original series miscommunicate the size, or did the original series not understand perspective? But I would rather talk about the blur effect first. I have no idea how this effect took off, but I need to talk about this now, because this has actually been bothering me for a while now. It makes me give your video an instant dislike when I see it done. Stop doing this blur effect! You see those blurs there? It makes the side of the product in question hard to look at. People do this to avoid having black bars on the side, or top and bottom if it's film footage, but this pixelated thing is hard to look at. Why are there 2 Cosmos right there? Why is there a duplicate? Either make the 4x3 footage stretched out, keep the black bars, or add a custom color side. Not the double blur effect! I see this everywhere nowadays. So Very Odder isn't the only one with this problem. I've been meaning to criticize this aspect 3 years ago. It first appeared in the late 2010s, but now I see it everywhere! Please, for the sake of my eyes, do not do this blur effect! You only do this if you want to make someone blind! Alright, let's get back to the show. Even though the show is draining. But, you know what? A show can make me forgive bad stories if the characters are good. How are the characters? Buckle up, bitches. This is gonna be a long one. Let's start with Vivian. Here's something positive that I can say about her. Like, I don't like the characters in this, but I actually want to start off with something positive. And that is that Vivian is the most interesting character on the show. That may not be saying much since she's blander than bread, but she's the only character that I can tolerate personality and acting-wise. That's mostly because they make her a torture porn character. Pretty much every single episode has her get abused in some sort of fashion. Now, because this is real-life live action, she can't get tortured like the ways that Timmy did in the past. Personally, I'm kind of fine on that aspect. Obviously, changing mediums has certain laws and physics in effect. You can't do that one episode where Timmy was naked for a whole episode in live action for obvious reasons.
Behold, the glory of our universe!
Nice moon. Glad we came.
But Vivian having shitty parents we can keep. One of the worst aspects of Very Odd Parents was the parents. I argue that they were more the reason for Timmy to have fairies than Vicky. I mean, it was them that pulled a lie on Timmy, forcing him to call Vicky in the first place.
We'll travel to parts unknown, deliver this food to those children, and videotape them eating it! Bye, precious gift!
They've left me to go to parts unknown forever!
Ha! Timmy believed our first little white lie.
Better call this babysitter. Yes!
What? No!
The great freedom of a news series is the ability to change certain past aspects. When you can give cartoons a new breath in the future years, you can remove certain bad aspects of the past. For example, many past Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry shorts had racist and sexist aspects. And in the 21st century, they have remade shorts and new ones without these damning aspects. Very Odd Parents is over 20 years old. Not everything about the show is gonna age the best, and that's perfectly fine. It happens to a lot of pieces of media. And the worst aspect was easily the parents.
Why, it's only Timmy eating from the garbage again. Maybe I should start making dinner for 3.
A new direction for Very Odd Parents could eliminate this terrible aspect. You know what Very Odder did? Instead of making the parents better, they just had it be that Vivian's dad gets married to a terrible woman. Because they just want to do step-siblings, because I guess this was originally going to be a Drake and Josh reboot, but they couldn't do that for some reason. The running gag for Rachel Raskin Turner is that she acts like the stepmom from both Snow White and Cinderella. But while those movies understand that they're evil, this show doesn't think that Rachel abusing her stepdaughter is evil.
Honey, you look awkward. Can I get you anything? I'm good. Thanks, Rachel.
No.
No, thank you. I really didn't want to get you anything. Never been more ashamed in my entire life. Masquerading as a youth, tricking my own sweet son and easily fooled stepdaughter.
You didn't fool me for a second.
Okay, sure, Viv.
I've actually been reading up on how to grow small businesses. Branding strategies, capital receipt expenditure.
And I'm falling asleep.
What about celebrities? And I'm waking up.
Ty Turner is just an idiot, you know, because every father in a cartoon has to be a fucking dumb ass. Also, there's a lot of dancing in this show. I don't know why. The original Fairy Odd Parents series didn't always dance. Don't know why this one does. And no, the dancing's never good at any rate. Then there's Roy. Oh my fucking god, Roy. I hate this fucker. You know, give Chloe Carmichael credit. As bad as her reasoning was for getting fairies...
See? I try too hard to fix things and I end up annoying people, destroying cities, and then no one wants to be my friend!
She at least gives a reason to deserve fairies. And she does deserve fairies, even if it is poorly put together. The most important factor for getting fairies is that you need to be miserable. I can buy Vivian being miserable, but not Roy. And if all it takes to get fairies is seeing the fairies, then everyone should get fairies. Xena sees the fairies a couple minutes later, so why doesn't she get fairies? Roy fell from the roof coming home from the hospital. You could have easily just said, oh, you were just seeing things, Roy. There weren't actually things there. You're just seeing things with your eyes. It might just be because of the hospital, that's all. Also, Wanda states,
I have half a mind to wipe both their memories right now.
then why don't you? You can wipe Roy's memory right now and everything will be fine. Wait a minute, I thought you always needed those weird capsule thingies for the memory wipers, like you saw in the origin of Denzel Crocker. Since when do regular fairies have this power? Then out of nowhere, Jorgen states this.
You two will have to share the puny fairies. Wicked awesome Roy will get a wish.
Let's go.
Then painfully average Vivian will get a wish.
Wow.
Then back and forth, taking turns to make wishes.
Why though? When Chloe and Timmy had Kaza Wanda, I don't recall them once needing to take turns for wishes. Like, they could do multiple wishes in a row if they wanted to. I don't see why Fairy Otter has to add this pointless rule.
That sounds overly complicated.
Yes, but it will be funny.
I've seen every single episode twice of Fairy Otter. Jorgen, no, it was not funny once. Roy is awful. One episode he wishes for the Midas touch, then he turns his mom into gold, and then he refuses to unwish the effect because of his own ego. True, his mom is a bitch, but that doesn't make Roy look good for him keeping his mom as a gold statue. He's a narcissist that only cares about himself. And with how much love he gets, you'd think he made a wish from a fairy to get popular. Nope, he already was popular, even though making the wish would have made more sense, but fuck it. Hey, remember that one Fairy Odd Parents episode, A Wish Too Far, where Timmy was put on trial for being too much of a jerk and almost made him lose his fairies? I don't like that episode either, but it at least establishes that children that are too much of jerks don't deserve fairies. If this show followed the original show's logic, Roy would definitely not be allowed fairies. But the worst character, by far, is Xena. She is a stalker. I thought this cliche died out a decade ago. Like, I thought Sierra from Total John World Tour was when it died and people realized that stalker was bad. Nope! We're still dealing with this shit in the present. Xena is in love with Roy. To be fair, they're the same age, but it's much creepier to do the shit that she does in live action with a real child. Like her lie about the newspaper thing, just so she could take pictures of Roy without permission.
You're doing great. We're almost there. And... oh. We got the shot. So, are you taking pictures for the school newspaper? The school newspaper. That'll give me an excuse to take all the pictures of Roy I need.
I don't even want to describe this shit. It's too disgusting. If you pull this shit off in real life, you'll get arrested. Oh wait, this is live action. How did they get away with this again? She's also 100% pointless. You could cut her out of the show and nothing would change. Why is she in the intro theme song of the show? It makes no sense. She's not a family member. She only ever hangs out with Vivian just to get to Roy. And the show never realizes that this is wrong. Like, the show has no self-awareness. And that is gross.
Isn't he gorgeous? He's my stepbrother. Too bad for you. Good for me, though. It's about time.
Xena, how'd you get in here?
I had keys made. Please sit. I'm your bestie.
Xena, what the heck?
Oh, this? I installed a trapdoor weeks ago. Getting a construction permit from the city was a nightmare, but this thing is solid.
At least with Vicky having the creepy love for Crocker, she is meant to be a villain. The budget for Fairy Otter is damn cheap. There's a super cheap Godzilla outfit that was directly bought from Party City. Rest in peace, that store. In episode 3, they bring up a talking wolf, but they don't show the wolf and claim that the wolf is talking via the side. Like, this sounds like a parody of a cheap show, not an actual cheap show.
Did that wolf just talk?
Sure did, Stoneface. You can run, but you can't hide. That horrible dye job.
And you know what? As a whole, if this show was a parody of sitcoms and such, that would be fine. But there's no self-awareness to it, and they just play the cliches straight, which makes it terrible. Also, for some reason, we see drawings of the characters in the Very Odd Parents art style. Like, it's all over the show. Like, there's supposed to be, like, posters of these people, but they're shown as drawings. Why? Real people don't show drawings of themselves. Like, we see Tad and Chad in the Very Odd Parents art style. Why does Nate look like Remy Buxaplate, but they just give him a different color hair? That looks like something straight out of DeviantArt. Animation allows better effects. In the original Very Odd Parents, when Timmy wanted to grow bigger to be better at basketball, we see his body change and grow with fluid animation. When Vivian wished to be taller, they just tilted the camera and it looks so bad. I think actual YouTube videos from YouTubers with less than 100 subscribers back 15 years ago, before this show came out, look better than a high-budget studio with experience in 2022. The comedy? Hey, there's a laugh track. Laugh! Oh, sorry, I can't laugh even with a laugh track playing if the material isn't funny.
Vivian, can you at least tell me where the farm animal smell is coming from?
My feet! They got sweaty from all the dancing.
Knowing what I know about Nickelodeon's history with children and feet, there should be a law stating that Nickelodeon can never make jokes about real children's feet again. Anything live action is dated and cliche. It comes across as that one, "How do you do, kids?" meme. Oh, here's an original joke. An ex-lover comes back to the present to try to get their past lover, even if said lover in present is married to someone else now. I thought that Cosmo's only ever girlfriend was Wanda. Apparently there's this new blue fairy named Brandy Lynn that Cosmo dated over 10,000 years ago. Considering how much Cosmo hates Wanda in the original series,
You should send Mark back home.
I can't send him back to his home planet to be killed.
Or worse, married! Well, I'm a boob, and Wanda trapped me into marriage.
I don't know why he never went with this blue fairy. Her acting, by the way, is also not good.
Hey, cute Mo. Hey, Wanda. Wanda, chill. I was just messing around.
Who am I kidding? All the acting in this show is bad. Now, I don't want to blame the actors themselves here. This is more of a problem with the director and how they wanted the show to go. Most of my favorite actors have gone through this problem. People like Christina V, Grey DeLisle, and Tom Kay have all had to play terrible characters in their lives. Ironically enough, those three each play terrible roles on The Loud House. But people thankfully know them for better roles. Christina V has Hamura from Madoka Magica, Grey DeLisle has Azula from Avatar, and Tom Kenny has SpongeBob from SpongeBob SquarePants. What I'm getting at is that I feel like these actors can do better if given a better director. Amanda Leeton was hated for her role as Blossom in Powerpuff Girls 2016, but she was praised when she later got the role of Polly in Amphibia. Speaking of Amphibia, Brenda Song was hated for a London Tipton role in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but was praised when she played Anne Boonchoy in Amphibia. Now that I think about it, my two favorite characters in animation, Anne and Hamura, both had their actresses play the character Sarah Mars at one point. Weird. I feel bad for the Fairy Otter actors because there's a chance they may not get roles after this. I hope they get better roles. They deserve better. Is there any saving grace to this show?
Now I'll have some peace and quiet until Crocker gets here and tells me his secret plan.
Why should I tell you my secret plan when I can sing it for you?
Oh yeah, Crocker! He's my favorite character on the show. Helping is that it's the original Carlos Alazraki doing the performance here. He is the only thing to like about this show. He does a song and it's awesome.
The Crocker operation is a world domination mission currently en route. I use this fairy pair to infiltrate the fairy world, and they don't capture every fairy boy and fairy girl. They'll too be under my command, don't you understand? It's the lurking inner workings of my master plan.
It's sad that he goes to fairy world and gets to prison. The show ends on a cliffhanger because he's just there. It feels like the show wanted to do more episodes, but they weren't allowed. So I guess this is the canon ending to the Fairy Odd Parents franchise. For some reason, the intro of this show, well, it's bad because it's just the original Fairy Odd Parents theme song, but short and sung worse. But what's weird is that they play the intro halfway through the episode. Like, it can happen 7 minutes in or up to 14 minutes in out of a 24-minute episode. Why can't they just do it like every other show, like show the intro at the beginning? Others at least do it in less than 2 minutes in. It doesn't make any sense in the slightest. Originally, I wanted to do this as a big review and do a Saw parody with my ex-friends where I would pull pranks on this one woman and her revenge on me would get me trapped in a torture chamber. and the only way to escape was to review every single episode of Fairy Otter. I'm glad that I scrapped that idea for the original review, not because of the people in question, even though yes, they're bad now, but because of how boring the actual material was. If this show was fun to make fun of like Donkey Kong Country or Quack Pack, it would have been an interesting show, but it's not even that. It's boring bad. Speaking of Quack Pack, if you want to see a good subversion of the cliche of sitcoms, DuckTales 2017 had a whole episode on that idea, where Donald Duck makes a wish to a genie and they all end up in a sitcom of cliches and they need to try to get out of it, and it subverts cliches in general there. Like they even make fun of the concept of a laugh track. It's also just a funnier episode and it just has better likable characters. So go watch that episode and just avoid Fairy Otter entirely. Score, 1 out of 10, F tier. The only reason it's not a 0 is because of Carlos Alice Rocky as Crocker. Without him, there would be nothing to enjoy about this show. Alright, that one's finally done. We're done with the Fairy Odd Parents sequel series. Now then, what are we doing for the next Ryanaimation review?
The Fairly Odd Parents sequel series!
Wait, didn't I just get done reviewing that?